Welcome back to Coffee and Chel. Thanksgiving weekend. Subathon is still going. It's on life support. We're still going over a month in. Thank you for everyone that has come and hung out. We've got like a couple hours left on the clock, so we'll see how she goes. That being said, let's get into today's episode. So yesterday I talked about how everything sort of changed, and they did like a mini massive content drop. So midway part of the season, or roughly about a month in. They dropped like a ton of icons and heroes and rookies, and this is what we're to expect every season drop. But season one was exceptionally long, probably so that it gives everyone that's played the game a little bit more time and it's not so rushed and then changing over. So things I want to talk about and things that I want to go over. Number one, I got plat. So after a month of playing, I didn't really grind ranked all that much because again, when I got sick of it, I just stopped, and I've been live for a month. So I played about 160 games and I got the plat, which I'm pretty proud of. Plat is kind of I would say about 2,000 skill rating last year, close to Division One. I think if you can get to Platinum 2, that really is like Division One from last year, just looking at the player base and who's in it in terms of the numbers. So pretty proud of that. But how I got there was kind of crazy. So what I ended up doing this weekend, learned a lot about the market. And I learned a lot, I think, about how to operate yearly if you're going to play this game all year long, because I think there's going to be some pain points. I want to talk about those in this video. So let me first talk about what we're going to discuss on today's episode. So first of all, learning not to chase, and in terms of team building, the market balancing, including Connor McDavid, captains for season two, and not just the captains, but all the cards, because we're going to get a big line combo reset. I think that people are not really paying attention for that, especially not the casual player, because you don't realize it, right? Fantasy cards. I do want to touch on that because I saw some questions about fantasy cards. Taylor Hall. He was in the S tier for a reason. He was the card that I wanted most. And now you are rewarded because he scored a couple goals at 84 overall. He was way too high rated, in my opinion. Probably should have been about an 80, but he is on the forward line still, but he's got 2 goals. He was already one of the best cards in the game, and now he's an 86. So anyone that has Taylor Hall, awesome. Trying to acquire him, literally going to be impossible. Hannafin is hurt, and so is Letang. Had a lot of people, Penguins fans in my chat, saying that Letang could get 99 easily, and I said yes. The reason why he won't, in my opinion, is because he can't play a full season. It's just how he is, unfortunately. So it looks like Letang and Hannafin are both hurt. Now, the duration of their injury is not really out there yet, but I want to discuss for anyone that is wondering what happens. The new content team, and they've implemented starting last year, sort of, that they do not do trade-ins for players that get hurt. It's very rare. It has to. It might now. They might, because it's so early on, if it was a season-long injury, right? But those two specific situations, JVR, Letang, and Hannafin, JVR is a little bit different, but I would not expect that. It is a known risk. It is an inherent risk that you take when taking part in the fantasy event, and that is just something that they've hammered even more. The old content team, man, if they were out like a month, they would do one. But this content team, don't expect a trade in for someone else if Letang gets hurt for like a couple weeks. It's got to be like season ending, I think, before they even consider it. So I would just anticipate that. It is a scary part of the fantasy event, but you also get a shot at a 99. And especially this year when so few people did outside of the B&D cards, right? So just heads up on that. JVR does look like he's going to get back in the lineup. He just missed training camp because of something with his family. So he should be back in the lineup, more than likely on the fourth line, but still, he should be back in the lineup. There's a couple other cards, like Lundell scored again. Easy S tier pick. But we'll wait and see. I would suspect it's tough because there's just so few tradable. There's not a lot of tradable fantasy items on the market, even with the huge influx from that one pack opening that happened. I would suspect that we start to see cards come down a little bit in about 2 weeks if they haven't scored. So players like that are not popular, that everyone like Liljegren. I'm a Sharks fan, and I'd love to get Liljegren. I'm not paying 900K for him. I would maybe pay 500 because I know that there is an extremely strong chance that he does not come to 99, and just is what it is. So let's get into some more of the nitty gritty here. So how I got to platinum, I went on one of the worst runs of my life. If you watched me on Friday, I went out and I got Captain McDavid. I went out and got Lindros. I went out and got Gardner. I fell right into the trap. All right, hook, line, and sinker. I'm one of you guys. Fell right into the trap. I had all of my coins and my cards that I have just been slowly collecting, waiting for something, and this was it. I knew Lindros was going to be usable no matter what. Like he was safe. Same with Gartner, and then it was McDavid, and I want to talk about Connor McDavid. So I think Connor McDavid's captain card is the best card in the game, and I think that it will be the best captain. I talked about this yesterday. I do not think that he's the best captain now, and he really hamstrings your team unless you have a specific six Pacific players, in my opinion, and that's the big issue. So if you don't have the specific cards, McDavid's captain card will demolish your team, and because you're trying to, you've used up all these resources, and you're taking base Connor I'm talking if you had base Connor McDavid. If you didn't have base Connor McDavid, then I still think it's okay because you built Connor McDavid. They're like, now, what I would recommend though in this situation is I went back to normal McDavid and I went and remade Heiskanen because Heiskanen's card was so good. He's one of the fastest cards in the game, and he's a defenseman, and we're lacking a lot of like knockout top tier defensemen. So I went and I remade Heiskanen because even if I want to go and make Yossi or McAvoy or even Zibanejad, okay, I haven't decided yet. Um, you're going to need another 85. So I went and made Heiskanen again, and I basically put together my lineup that I had before the content drop, but I also included Lindros and Gardner, right? So I took out McKinnon. I can't remember. I took out Byfield right now. I'm just trying some things out, and I want to see. Went on a run. I got to Platinum 1, which I'm super proud of because, like I said, I think that's like Division 1. We're very close to it in prior games, so pretty proud of that. But what I would recommend you do is not rush your captain choice. I think that in 2 weeks from now, even a week from now, when the new face-off cards come out, if they include a Pacific defenseman that is top tier, so like if they come out with a really good defenseman from the Pacific Division, like if they came out with like a Bouchard card that was kind of quick, that wasn't like 84 speed, it changes everything, and Connor McDavid's card becomes the best card in the game again. It's just what I would recommend is going and just getting base Connor McDavid, and we're starting to see his price come back up. And I had a feeling this was going to happen, so that's what I'm doing. I will have a no money spent video. I'm going away with my family just for Thanksgiving today, so I won't have a video on no money spent today. I'm probably going to make it tomorrow, and it's a big one because it's showing the rise and fall of a week of playing the game. And going from Tage Thompson, burning a lot of cards in my collection to make Tage Thompson and Byfield, throwing them in the lineup, going after Draisaitl, not really usable for me in my opinion, just the way I play the game, and then the new content coming out, and then like just everything, and then ending up with the exact same team almost that I had beforehand, right, and performing the best. So I think we need to learn how to be patient. So let's talk about the market balancing. McDavid's card, I told you guys when he was crashing under 100K. I didn't know that I did not expect the build of McDavid to come. I do appreciate for the majority of the player base that's actually really good. Getting Connor McDavid's captain card that you could build. He's the most exciting player of the game. The season just started, and everyone's trying to chase Connor McDavid, get his card, and now you can build him. And I am happy for a lot of players that get to use him. Like I said, for the people that had McDavid, I feel for you as well. That's tough. I'm one of you guys, but I know that in the end you're going to be all right because base Connor McDavid. There's 30,000 players that play Hut like pretty regularly. I would say that more than 3 hours a week right now. And not everyone can have Connor McDavid's captain card. So what's happening is now Connor McDavid's card is starting to climb back up. There was like 120 on the market, and now we're down to like 25, 30. Like it will keep going up. And I would assume that he falls in around 150,000 coins. That's my guess. Somewhere around where McKinnon is. And, that I would sell then, but I don't really need, I'm not in a rush. And I think that's what I want to focus on is not being in a rush. If they release top tier content and you chase it on the first day, you will lose all of your coins or all of your collection. And sometimes if it's a decision because of the line combos and how the game works, you're going to be stuck because if you don't look at what happens when you make a line combo change, then you could end up having to demolish your team just to get the one card in, right? So simply just waiting is now going to be my thing. Going into what should you do if you get with what you pack. When it comes to tradable cards, I'm still going to sell everything, right? I'm still going to sell everything outside of 83 and above. I think that if you go and look at teams, the Sanheim is a perfect example. Okay, so Sanheim was an 82 overall card. New line combo came out. New Cale Makar card came out, which is a great card, by the way. Makar's card is fantastic. Makar card comes out, and now Sanheim goes from, I don't know, 8,000 coins, whatever the base was for an 82. I bought and sold him for 50, 60,000 coins. So just waiting and seeing what happens on the market or looking at the teams. And I'm going to use this as an example. A blue center. Okay, let's say you need a blue center. Having Robert Thomas now might not mean much, but if they come out with a blue center option that gives a +2 or a big AP bonus, like you could see that price skyrocket, right? And so I'm just keeping an eye out for like 83 overall cards and above. I'm just going to wait, and I think that's the play. When it comes to like the lower overalls, like alumni, completely change the price. I don't see 78s because I don't know how they could make more usable, right? Like everything's kind of been figured out in terms of overalls on the lower end of things. So I'm selling all that stuff still. But yeah, man, the market changing has been pretty crazy. Captain season 2. So another thing about McDavid and why if you made McDavid, don't regret it. Like you're fine. I promise you. Even if you have normal Connor McDavid, like base Connor McDavid, you will be fine because Connor McDavid's card, like I said, when new cards come out that fit his Pacific division, you're golden. So when it comes to Captain 2, something that's not realizing about the base Connor McDavid price, we don't know what's going to happen in Season 2. So Season 2 comes out, I think it's like November 15th or in the middle of November, middle of November. Connor McDavid, you might not be able to use Season 1 captains with him in Season 2, which then means that Connor McDavid card is now pointless. The other thing is, one of the biggest pieces of feedback is, do they allow you to use more captain cards? I could see a world where the captain, like they allow you to use another captain, but you can't get both bonuses. It's one of the biggest pieces of feedback I had just like early on in the year is that like Heiskanen's a great card, right? But I would also like to use other cards that are captain cards, not even for their boost, just like to use the card, right? If that happens, everything changes as well for the McDavid thing and just like making captains in general. But I think they did a really good job with the captain release if they did McDavid because there are so many interesting options. Like Yossi is probably the one, or even Zibanejad. There's a really good one with Zibanejad where you can do an interesting build because of line combos. Let's talk about line combos resetting too. This is going to be, prediction-wise, the thing that will push players away if it is not done perfectly, and it is very hard. It's not even a lack of confidence thing. I don't know how they're going to do it perfectly, but when they change the line combos, we have spent, I don't know, well, over a month now, constructing our teams perfectly to fit line combos, to fit all that certain stuff, right? When you have, like, let's say, for example, the Capitals, the Philadelphia Flyers, Edmonton Oilers, +2 boost, right? That is God tier for the rest of the season, right? Into November because of McDavid, Lindros, and Gardner. I talked about this a lot. If it's a buildable line, amazing. Much like the Pasternak, Sakic, Naslund, or Pedersen line, right? Those were all buildable cards. Everyone's going to have those because you should. If you're chasing after the best cards in the game, there's nothing wrong with everyone having the same cards in that aspect because those are very good cards. You want to play at the top end or not even competitively. Just like that is the best cards. When Season 2 comes, if those don't fit a +2, which they probably won't, people are going to be left with like, I spent all this time grinding these cards. Now what? And it's not exactly like MLB because MLB went from base cards to 99 in 2 months, back down to base cards. It was a rough go. And it was like many year-long games in 3-month spans, and everyone got exhausted from it because now it's like, now I got to grind all the way back up. So it's very, very interesting to me because it will push some people away who spent all this time building a team. And then it's like, okay, I got to start all over. Not start all over again, but I lost all this good stuff. Now I got to chase after this crazy. It's a very, very delicate balance. So we'll see. But yeah, a lot of stuff on the table right now. But let's get into the questions from yesterday. One thing I have in the back of my mind about McDavid is that we don't know how season one captains will look after the fall in the following seasons. I would assume that you won't get a boost from season one captain in season two. But if you can only have one captain card in your lineup, regardless of which season they belong to, you're stuck with a choice of using Captain McDavid with no boost or getting a boost from season two captain. It makes the value of building the card a bit risky, and there's a possibility of an increase in price of base McDavid when the season rolls over. I think base McDavid's price is fine. Like it, yes, it's not 300,000 coins, which was kind of crazy, but I think you're okay. I just looked now. There's only 16 on the market right now. 16, about 100. The cheapest one's like 130K. Like I anticipate that it will go up even more. And I don't know. I'm not telling you to go buy it. I'm just telling you that like the people that were freaking out and panic sold. Lesson learned, man. Don't panic sell. You just got to ride it out. Love the massive content drop, but I wish that the line combos were more random and diverse. Gardner, McDavid, Lindros are overpowered already. Having them in a line combo at the top just makes everyone have the same team. How about a line combo for a Hab or a Russian or a Slovak or a Jet? Would create a more diverse lineup, be more fun. 100% agree. I think that was obviously like a marketing thing. Or not even a marketing thing, but almost like too much of a guide. It's like they put team building on the guardrails, and it's like, you need to make these. It's like, oh, here's the 3 best from each of the release. It's like, now go, here's an extra bonus for doing it. It seems very pay to win or like rush out and do. But I agree. I think the line comp is being more diverse. I don't think there's anything that you can do about being more diverse. Unless they release 50, I just don't know. And then the whole game just becomes like, this whole thing is such a delicate balance because I kind of like that there's limited amount so that there's a few cards that are just, man, those are the ones you chase and get. When it's so abstract, it's a lot. And for me personally, I'm not talking about for anyone else. I still think that there should be just a blanket 3 of the same team get a +2. But I kind of like the okay, here is clearly the ones you should go after, upgrade your team that way. But that's just the way I play the game. But I definitely agree that there should be more diversity. Sleeves is on to something here about breaking away from the chems. This is what I did. I tried in the midst of blowing up my team. I was like, you know what? Screw it. I'm not going to go for line chems. I'm just going to make the best team I can with the cards I had. And I did perform pretty well with it, but I noticed that like Sakic didn't have the same jump in his step. You know, like on defense, I didn't particularly love my defenseman. So like there is something with that. Focusing on using guys like Pasta, Sakic, Naslin to best available, and made line 2 Sakic, Fedorov, and Solani. In 2 champs games, I had a rage quit win and a blue 4-0 thing lead, but managed a straight line with Byfield and threw everyone. Was never this confident in my team having the Pasta boost line. Gemini was right about the expert knowledge. Would have continued to use Sakic's line and have been annoyed with it for the rest of the season. Like I said, I think that if you're frustrated with it, that's when it's time to go, right? Like that's when. This has been my philosophy from the start. Use my best favorite players and then use line combos to decide what my lines are. For sure. I think this is always the best way to play Hut for almost the entirety of the player base. Like, I threw Macklin in for a little while, and there's an issue with endurance, or maybe it's in my head, but it was even harder. And Macklin's endurance is so bad that, like, I legitimately couldn't use him. It was like half of Rush, and I couldn't use him, so... I see your point about inserting worse cards in and just use the better, but the caveat is sometimes you can insert a slightly worse card to give an amazing cards a +3, which is absolutely worth it in my second line. Raymond, Pavonk, and McKinnon, and they are all a +3, an incredible second line, and lower center is worth the sacrifice. I don't disagree here. I'm not saying that the better cards are always going to be better, or the best cards are always going to be the best beating line combos, but I'm saying that if you don't have that available to you, just kind of forget about it. Stop trying to put a square peg in a round hole, you know what I mean? To just get that done, right? Ace Sleeves, no money, a long-time viewer from Australia. Bonjour. Thank you for the content you do. I'm no money spent and enjoy Hut this year for the most part since I started in NHL 23. Despite the meta chemistries, this year is more rewarding to build theme teams than the players I want. The biggest disappointment for me is I struggle to find online opponents to play. I spent Saturday night trying to find a champs game for 3 hours only to face the same opponent twice. I lost 8-1 and 6-0. It was much easier to find rivals in champs games in NHL 25 than this year. I don't want to give up the game this year. There's no one to play with. Australia may never going to find anyone. Bigger issues, they started to remove servers around the world because they needed to force players to be able to play each other. Sounds counterintuitive, but because there was more servers, it separated the player base even more. So they removed servers, which is never a good thing. But the player base can now there's more people able to connect and find games quicker. In situations like this, you probably got the short end of that stick, and you're probably not going to find many games, man. I apologize, dude. The only problem with using your best players is the cap hasn't risen, so as the overall get higher, just not much more you can do, even if you wanted to add them. The fourth line, guys, 100% make a marquee line on your fourth line. That there is some combos that you can do to make them even have AP boost as well. But that huge salary cap boost is 100% something that everyone should be doing to add to their team because it's just important at this stage. What I think EA needs to do is make a +2 overall chem for every team. I'm a Wild fan so far, and I have nothing I can really do with my favorite players because they don't get the +2. First of all, like I would still recommend using your favorite Wild players, but I agree. This is 100% something that I would recommend, and I hope that we see that maybe in the future. But every team should have a +2 line for having the same team. I think that would be huge. That's going to do it for today's Who Should You Choose? I'll see you guys tomorrow. Again, big No Money Spent video coming up. Market Monday is going to be hilarious. Thank you guys again for watching. I'll see you next time. Have a good one.